Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Quick update on Bitcoin, seeing what's going on. Looks like we keep retesting this top of this range at about 64,300, 400, right in that range. And I can tell you it looks like we're likely to break through that. But we got to treat this with respect. This could be a double top. We'll see if there is enough momentum to get through this here resistance level. So if you're new to the channel, I want to welcome you aboard. If you've been watching for a while, thanks again so much for just always hitting that like button, commenting below, and just deeply appreciate every single thing that you've done for me and with me. That's been a great experience here overall. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin. I'm going to pull up the correct chart here because I think I mistakenly saved Polkadot over the top. So what we want to look at here with liquidation is kind of see how much liquidation is left. There was a pretty solid chunk above the price action. So let's just jump right into the monthly here and kind of get perspective. Yeah, we can see pretty solid amount of liquidation still at about 65.3, upwards of 66K. All right, so again, still some chunky liquidation there above the price action. We zoom in a little bit here, we can see obviously there's quite a lot here to 66,000. So that hasn't changed much, really not much to be updated there, because obviously this more local high, there hasn't been a lot of liquidation as far as shorts getting hit, minus anyone that probably tried to short somewhere in the 63.5 range, which doesn't make a ton of sense. But at this point, is it sensible to short? Well, hypothetically, yes, on a small term, a very, very tiny time frame. Yeah, maybe, because you can play this double top and essentially just consider the fact that Asian market's going to open here in about a couple of hours, and they've been pretty notorious about just trying to drive the price down, at least trying at first in the first half an hour to an hour of their trading session. So we can kind of see that reflected here. If we look at trading sessions, for the most part, you'll see some red from Asia, and then some pumpiness as a result of that. Okay, so I'd say, generally speaking, the first couple of hours of Asia entering the market, so to speak, we're probably likely to see a slight pullback. So wouldn't be surprised if we just see that double top kind of play out. I don't think it's going to go straight down, but there's a good start there. Anyways, just some theory there more so than anything. It doesn't mean it's exact or concise. The key thing we want to talk about here is the macro point of control at 63,000. That's a very, very solid amount of support. So the likelihood of Bitcoin dropping below that is becoming smaller as we spend more time in this range, right? We're in the upper half of that range essentially, and again, it's a type of pattern that is extremely important to recognize. I've touched on this a few times. Apologize if this is a broken record for you, but I just want to kind of clarify. In our Discord, we got some education, of course. Majority of it is. We got a bullish rectangle where Bitcoin is essentially working within a range right now. It's more likely to break to the upside based on the simple fact that we keep retesting that top range. So heaven forbid the price pulls back a little bit, that would be a solid consideration for a long. The likelihood of Bitcoin going up from here is much greater than going down. The reason why I say that isn't because of Elliott wave. It isn't because of this point of control. It's because everything is combining together to show us that it's gaining strength. We have a solid amount of support below us too, at that 60.5 range, which is that golden pocket. If you kind of zoom out, you can see 63K, but our more local point of control is at about 61. So again, good solid entries would be 63, 62, and 61K, just as some simple round numbers for you. Taking a look here at the SMAs, let's quickly understand that the 200-day SMA is tentatively below the price action right now. I like to say tentative because we still got an hour's left, or hour and a half left of trading before the candle closes. And just because it closes above doesn't mean it instantly goes to the moon. But that is a solid sign to be closing above the 200-day SMA. That would be pretty advantageous. We're also honoring our ascending trend line here, and technically we could push our trend line out to reflect the 50 and the 20-day SMA. Those are generally the trend setters there, okay? So we're gonna kind of just adjust that a little bit, just so you can kind of see, maybe get perspective on it just a little bit easier. So again, if you're new to the channel, I like to kind of just keep things fluent and consistently change things. And what I mean by consistently change is just, you got to update your levels. You can't just be focused on one thing, okay? So that's why we look at different time frames, but we don't inundate ourselves with too many time frames. If you're using more than 10 time frames, I think you're doing it way wrong. Honestly, more than 3 or 4, in my personal opinion, is way too much. It depends on what you're trying to do though, okay? From a swing trader's perspective, you just need 2 or 3 time frames and you're good. But obviously, if you're day trading, you want those plus smaller time frames, okay? Okay, anyways, right here, we take a look here at the RSI. We're still gaining strength. Money flow index super high. Stochastic, while it's trying to pull back for the second time, it's not really holding any strength because, again, we have a lot of momentum and a lot of money flowing into the coin. This money flow index is extremely important, okay, folks? Again, we see the consistency in money coming in. As you can see down here, we're maintaining a pretty solid average minus the weekends. The weekends are a little bit of a dip there. Okay, it's very standard though. 4-hour time frame, we can reflect positively here. Honestly, if you look at everything, stochastic swinging up, we're maintaining over 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is good. MACD convergence here is almost set and ready to rock and roll. And at this point, again, we keep retesting this upper range. So we'll just go ahead and kind of move this up a little bit to kind of give us perspective on where we're at there, and just kind of pay close attention. Again, once we break through that level, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape to see it continue further up. So we may see one more leg down just based on this being a double top and Asian markets opening here soon. If that does happen, I wouldn't be super concerned. I have an alert set here at about 62.5. I'll adjust it to about 62.7 just to kind of get alerted there in case we get close to that 63K range, because I was talking about that earlier with my community. I wanted to get in at 62.5. The price came down to 62.7, turned around. I want to get in at 144 for Solana, 144.50, right? The whole day has been like that. I mean, SCI, for example, I tried to get in here at, what, 38 cents, and the price took off and never looked back. And of course, I don't like to catch runners, so I typically like to hesitate and wait for the dip. Didn't work out. So again, patience doesn't necessarily always pay off, right? So there's no doubt about that. So I can totally admit that FOMO is a real thing, and everyone struggles with it. I wouldn't say that I struggle, but I don't love missing opportunities like that, especially when I spend all day analyzing a bunch of charts and then I don't get to take entry because I'm too busy analyzing. Anyways, first world problems, right? So either way you look at it here, Bitcoin's looking solid. We really honestly don't even need to look at the hourly. This hasn't changed much. If anything, it's become more on the bullish side of things. We can see the lagging span is now free and clear of the price action, and the conversion lines intersecting with the baseline, we're over the cloud. So this is like 2 out of 3 reasons to be like, hey, we're probably in pretty good shape. We should see further upside. I personally just want the price to pull back a little bit so we can get in for a long, but once more, that may not be an opportunity. So again, dollar cost average wherever possible. I wouldn't say that we'll never see this price point again, but I will say that it may be a little while if we pass this threshold and we start running towards that upper liquidation level of 66K. So just a heads up on that. Other than that, that's really what we got. I'll post our playout chart, an updated playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It looks a little something like this. And again, you can kind of see what trades I'm looking to take if you want to. All right. Thanks again, folks. Look forward to seeing you the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.